Hey guys, I'm Ben, and ever since I did the video of trying to draw with my left hand, I've been wanting to try different types of drawing videos that aren't speed paints, so I thought that I'd take 3 random objects in my room and turn them into Miku designs. Because Miku designs are very fluid and also because I've been obsessed with Vocaloid and I need to make everything about it. Anyways, onto the first object that I'll be turning into a Miku. We have the worm on a string. Now for these speed paints I'll try to talk about the drawing and designing process. So first, I started with drawing a little chibi to test aspects I wanted on the design before starting the actual drawing. I knew I wanted to use the worms for her pigtails and that I wanted to give her fluffy hair to kind of match the texture of the worms. I decided to give her a few bows to represent the string, and I also tried to make her skirt look fluffy. Oh, and also I gave her fluffy leg and arm warmers. The colors aren't all that special because my worm is only blue, so I was really trying to use different blues and add white details. Other than that, I didn't change her outfit much from her default one, and her design is probably my least favorite design from these, but it's okay since I'm not experienced in character design, so this is really just practice. Oh, and also I decided that because worms on strings remind me of 2020 that I'd make her personality a little chaotic, which influenced her pose and her fashion too, I guess. I'm not that good at designing outfits for characters, so that's also why this one is a bit basic. Some other things I want to note are that I made her tall, and gave her tall shoes, cause worms are long, so she's long. I also gave her long and pointy nails just because I thought the shape of them would fit with the rest of the shapes she is going on. That was a really poor explanation, but hopefully you get it. Anyways, that's all I have to say about her, so enjoy the rest of the speed paint. Okay, here's the finished design for my worm on a string Miku. I actually kinda like her now that I've been finished with her for a while. Here's a close-up of her and let's move on to the next design. My next object to turn into a Miku design is a sewing tomato. I was really excited to do this design because I wanted to give her a giant sewing needle. I don't know if it's like a weapon for her, but she's probably really tiny if the sewing needle is that big compared to her. I thought of making her a little fairy, but I thought it would stray from the original theme too much, so I ended up not doing it. You can see that I tried to start sketching a pose for her again, but I then moved on to drawing a little chibi for her, so that way I could plan out my design. When I was drawing these, I was having a hard time drawing, so you'll see me struggling to draw all of these a little bit. I wanted to make her a little chubby, since the sewing tomato is round, so they'll kind of have similar silhouette. I gave her bangs that match the shape of the green part on the top of the tomato, and gave her some longer strands and an ahoge that are supposed to represent the green strings on the sides and the top. I then added some pins in her hair that hold her pigtails, and I made her pigtails then to also represent the green strings. I gave her some braids that are pinned to the back of her head with even more pins. I decided to give her a skirt that's kind of spherical. I don't know what you'd call it, but it's just to help the silhouette a bit more. I made it resemble the actual tomato. I gave her a little backpack so for holding all her pins. I gave her socks that match the shape of the green thing on top, and I just felt like she needed a jacket, but I cropped it so it didn't fully cover the shape of her, if that makes sense. In the picture I used, it doesn't show it, but there's a small chili pepper attached to the tomato. I'm not sure if it's a chili pepper. I've seen people call it a strawberry. I'm not even completely sure what it's used for, but I made it into a little pet for her. It's supposed to be a cat, kind of at least. I made her a little tan just to blend in with her darker color palette. I don't really have much to say about the colors I chose, other than that I'm really happy with them. I think her chibi design was super cute, but I feel like my art style isn't really good at capturing the cuteness of things, so in her regular drawing she doesn't look as cute, which disappointed me a bit. Anyways, she's probably my favorite design and that's all I have to say about her, so just enjoy the rest of this speed paint. Okay, now the sewing tomato Miku is finished. I hope the speed paint wasn't too boring, but here's a close-up of her, and let's move on to her third, and last Miku design. I was really stumped as for what I could do for my third design until I remembered that I like Chikawa and I have 2 plushies of him. So I thought that combining him with Miku would be really cool. If you don't know who Chikawa is, to keep it extremely brief, he's a little creature from a manga and an anime. He's very cute and also cries a lot. So I decided I'd make this Miku a crybaby too. I was really struggling to draw on this one especially. I was kind of losing motivation for this challenge, so I made her design really simple and just gave her a hoodie with Chikawa's face on it and some sweatpants. Oh, and I gave her paw slippers too, so she can look extra cozy. The coloring is also pretty simple. I did struggle a bit, but overall I didn't have too much of a hard time. I think she still looks cute, but I don't have much else to say, so you can enjoy the rest of the speed paint. Here's the finished Chikawa Miku design. She's probably my least favorite, but I still like her. Here's a close-up of her. And tell me what your favorite design was in the comments. Also let me know if you want more videos like this. Thank you if you stuck around this long. Bye.